there. We'll be beginning with the webinar in another minute or so. Just giving a minute for all the participants to join. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, The Magic of Gamification in Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM with our Gamifics365. Revitalizing Dynamics 365 CRM operations with fun games and activities. Now, before we move ahead in this fun-filled session, let me outline the webinar logistics. Lines of all the participants will be muted throughout the session. Now, in case any question arises in your mind, please feel free to ask them with the help of the chat window. And I assure you that I will try to answer most of the questions, if not all, depending on the time constraints. My name is Ninad, and I'm the Business Development Manager at iNogic. Now, speaking of iNogic, we are a leading service provider and ISV for past more than a decade, and we have exclusive Dynamics 365 products. We are very much active in the Dynamics 365 community, and our blogs are not only extremely popular but also appreciated by the community. We truly believe in the philosophy of one-click solution, which is building productivity apps that reduces multiple steps which otherwise a CRM user has to take. As you can see on the slide, we have various applications on the offering. I would like to take a moment and very briefly describe some of them. The first one that I want to touch base is Maplytics. Maplytics is certified for Microsoft Dynamics 365 and it helps businesses around the world to plot, plan, visualize, and analyze Dynamics CRM data on a map. It offers seamless mapping services. Key features include managing territories, route optimization, smart appointment planner, and many more. One of my favorite apps from the bouquet is the subscription and recurring billing management. It provides a robust platform for all the subscription-based businesses to seamlessly manage, streamline subscription and recurring billing processes right within their Dynamics 365 CRM. Another pearl that we have is Map My Relationships. It's a productivity control that provides mind map view of the Dynamics 365 CRM data on a form. It helps the users to visualize connections and relationship between entities or related records. Now, apart from developing these awesome applications, we are also SI. We do assist partners and customers with offshore development services. So in case you have any requirement ranging from customization or to probably a world-changing idea, I would request you to get in touch with us on crm@inogic.com. It's crm@inogic.com. So what we shall be discussing today, we'll be talking about the impact of gamification, then the key features provided by Gamifics365, followed by a small yet very, very effective live demonstration, followed by the Q&A session. Now, all work, no play makes work life really, really boring. And when work life is boring, then there is minimum productivity. But with engaging games and activities, daily routine work life can be made really exciting and entertaining. A perfectly gamified CRM can be used to engage and motivate the users to give their very best every day. Now, this will definitely result in the daily work becoming more engaging and fun with gamification. Now, many surveys indicate that companies with organized and effective gamification tends to make almost 7x profits compared to the companies who haven't implemented the gamification. Well, why just talk about companies? 90% employees say gamification makes them more productive at work. Now, let's face it, games are fun, right? Games motivate and encourage the individuals to do their best. So it's a no surprise that around 70% of the global 2000 companies have adopted gamification elements in their workplace to improve the productivity. Now, in the dynamic business world, as competition gets tougher, companies are ready to adopt out-of-box solutions to stay ahead of the competitors. And gamification is one such concept which has a huge potential to improve the productivity rate and the rate of returns for the organization. Today, gamification has become an integral part of many business processes, whether it's sales, marketing, customer service, product development, etc. And this has opened many avenues, and Dynamics 365 CRM gamification is one of them. So, in a nutshell, if we talk about the impact of the gamification, it's productivity, increased productivity, enhanced user engagement, increased job satisfaction, and above all, increase in the efficiency. Now, iNogic is proud to present the user gamification module in a new avatar named Gamifics365. Let's have a quick peek at some of the key features of the Gamifics 365. We'll start with games. With Gamifics 365, we can create different type of engaging games like challenges, face-off, and race between CRM users. The next key feature is game rules. Every game must be played within the rules. Yes, we want the users to win, but the game needs to be played by the rules. With game rules, the administrator can set rules and conditions for the games to be played on an individual or a team level. The next is badges and rewards. To boost the confidence and to provide that extra bit of inspiration, bestow badges and rewards to motivate players that will eventually translate to achieving the organizational goals. We also have scoreboards and leaderboards where we can view the player performance on a real time through personalized Gamifics 365 scoreboards. We also have a mobile app that enables the players to join the games, track their performances through mobile app. And we do have one more feature that I will be revealing at the end of the demonstration. Now, with that being said, let's see Gamifics 365 in action. Now, for today's webinar, I have already installed the Gamifics 365, configured it with few games and the game rules. So let me just switch to my Gamifics 365. Now, here I have logged in as the administrators. As an administrator. So let me just check with one of the things, which is the leaderboards. Now, here you may observe that we have multiple games right here. And let me select one of the game that I'll be using today, which is the Cold Call Warriors. Now, with the leaderboards, the administrators can immediately view who's leading the leaderboard, what score has been scored by every player. Sorry. Now, right here under the administration, we also have something called as Gamifics365 Studio. Now, within Gamifics365 Studio, I can see about the game rules. I can also go for games and badges, users, and so on. I'll be touch basing all of them one by one. Let's see what's exactly there with the rules. Now, as you can see, I've created multiple rules, almost 113 rules. Now, it doesn't need to be so complex. However, we were trying to recreate multiple scenarios in which I created multiple rules. We can have a very similar kind of structure within your organization as per the games and the game requirements. With the three dots into the picture, we can view the rule, we can clone the rule, we can use it as and when want. We can activate and deactivate it as per requirement. So want to activate the rule for a certain period, certain promotional campaign going on, we can apply that particular rule and so on. Now, we'll go in the details of rules and how to set the rules. However, before we go in the details of rules, let me talk about games. So for the demonstration, we'll be talking about one of the game called as Cold Call Warriors. Now, one of the astonishing fact or one of the astonishing thing about Gamifics365 is that you can create a game for almost any and every event that happens within the CRM. Now, with the time constraint for the webinar, I am sticking only to one of the event, which is hypothetically, let's assume for today's webinar that we have a sales team or a team of agents whose day in day out operation is to make calls. And as an organization head or as a department head, you want to actually go ahead and motivate those users so that they can make more and more calls. And what scenario is that for every successful call that is made in an outgoing direction, a certain points will be allocated to that user. Now, can we create a game out of it? Definitely yes. So what you are looking on the screen right now is a game called as Cold Calls Warrior, and the idea is to bestow 10 points, or sorry, 100 points on every phone call that is being made in the outgoing direction. Great. So let's have a look at the game. So for the demonstration purpose, I'll be switching back and forth between multiple windows so that we can see what is exactly configured and what are the different options using which we can configure this particular game. So for that, let me just pull up one of the window. Here's so here, this particular window is just a new game. It's a completely blank game, and thanks to the Windows feature, I'm putting the screen side by side. Now, let's see what's the thing that we can what we have configured in the Cold Call Warriors, and what are the different options which are available when it comes to configuring a new game. So let's start with the basic one. On the left side, I can see there's a name which is given, Cold Call Warriors. You can provide the optional description as well, and we have got the start and the end date. Pretty rudimentary, pretty basic, perfectly works well. Now let's go to the next one. The Cold Call Warriors has been entered with the type of the game as challenge. However, if we just go to the right side, I have got a window which says we have got three different options. We have got a challenge, we have got a face-off, and we have got a race. Now, the face-off is a game that can be played only between two users, whereas the challenge and the race types can be played between multiple users, multiple teams, and we also support the fantasy teams. Yes, guys, the fantasy team or the fantasy teams which has taken the world by the storm, and we have tried to replicate the same fun within the CRM. So if you look into the game is in between. For the cold call warriors, I have configured the game to be between the users. However, as I was mentioning, the game can be configured for fantasy teams, or the users. Now, the fantasy team, as I was mentioning, has taken the world by the storm. So let's assume there is a race going between multiple users of the sales team. Now, these sales team members are moving mountains to achieve and probably overachieve the target. So the fun lies only within the sales team. Every sales team member might be checking their ranking, their points on a weekly, daily, or even hourly basis. But what about the other teams working in the organization? The accounts team, for example, might just be missing the fun, or the operations team might be missing the fun. No worries. The fantasy team is their key to fun. With fantasy teams, any non-participating CRM user can create their own teams with the players they think are the best, and then even the non-participating user can enjoy the fun of games. Now, what's more is that even non-participating user can motivate the participating user to push their limits. Now, because non-participating user is going to win only when their fantasy team wins. That's the power of gamification. No wonder, as I had mentioned earlier, many surveys find a boost in the overall profit once the gamification is implemented. Very well, let me come back to cold call warriors, and let me just scroll down and let's check the behavior of the game. Well, I have set the behavior of the game as public. However, we have a couple of values which can be set. It can be set either as public or it can be set as private. Now, when we set a particular game as private, the creator of the game has to add the desired CRM users as the players. Now, that can be done by going under the players tab right here, the third tab. However, if we keep the behavior of the game as public, the CRM user with certain conditions will be able to join the game voluntarily. Now, I did mention with certain conditions, right? And that certain conditions is allowed roles. Now, if we keep up a particular game as public, does that mean that you can't restrict anyone to join the game? Well, it's not a good way to go ahead, because if there's a game that is happening between sales team, we don't want accounts or the operations to join the game, right? For that, we can keep up with something called as allowed rules. So the moment I make the behavior of the game as public, you may notice we get the allowed rules, and we can set the security rules for which once they possess that particular security role, only then they can join this particular game. However, as you may notice in the cold call warriors, I haven't set any security role. What does this signify? Now, this definitely signifies that any user can join the cold calls warrior game. Now, is it recommended? Definitely not. This was just for the demonstration purpose. And finally, we have the allow players to join the game if the game is already in progress. Well, this flag ensures that the CRM user doesn't miss the fun bus. So let's say the cold call warriors game has already begun, and myself as a representative, I just want to join the game even if the game has already begun. And can that be achieved? Yes, that can be easily achieved with the help of this flag, which is allow players to join the game if the game is in already progress. Now, with that being said, let's look at the next tab, which is the game rules. Now, if you recollect, the idea behind creating this game was to assign 100 points on every phone call that is being made in the outgoing direction. Area, in this case the Australia, then you will be getting double the points as compared to the other areas, let's say Asia Pacific, for example. Now, what we can do is we can associate multiple rules for this game, and our solution goes sequentially with all the rules, and whichever rule satisfies the condition, those points will be automatically allocated to that particular player. Now let's talk about the game rules for cold call warriors. Let me just open this rule for you, and I also have kept a blank rule open in a new window. Let me switch back to side-by-side view. I hope this is visible. Now, starting with the game rule template, the name has been given, the optional description, and starts the configuration path. So in this case, I have set it to the entity name, which is phone call, and this will be used for the creation. So that means every time a phone call record a phone call entity record is being created, at that time this rule will be applicable. However, if you observe, let me go right here. So as I had mentioned, one of the most exciting thing about Gamifics365 is that it supports almost all the entities that you have, not just out of box, but even your custom entities. And you can select any entity and then the event associated with that particular entity. The next one is which date should be used, and here I am mentioning. So let's try to recreate this record. So let me say a phone call, and let me select the event as create, and I can select which date should be used on. So let me select it as created on, and who should get the score. So I'm saying whoever is creating this record, that person should get the score. Now comes the next question. What should be the score? Whether you want to allocate any fixed points, like in our case, I have kept it as 100 points, or we can also use it in other way, in which, let's say, if you want to use an actual field value. For example, if a lead is being closed, and if you want to use the estimated value, or if you want to use budgeted value, we can definitely use such kind of values to make it more interesting. And finally, we can also have the filter records for which this rule must apply. So just to give you an example, if I just scroll down right here, notice that I have provided the advanced and I have just provided a simple fetch XML. Now, why I have provided the fetch XML is because if you recollect the condition, the phone call record must be created in an outgoing direction. So for that particular condition, I have used this particular fetch XML. Now, what happens is, because of this, let me just go back and let me check the players. So under the players tab, you can see we have got a couple of players who have already started playing the game, Beverly and Brian. And currently Brian is leading, perfect, with 1000 points, and Beverly is trying to catch up with 700 points. Now, I'm going to do an interesting thing right here. So in one of the other tabs, I have logged in as Beverly, and I'll be creating a new record for the phone call entity. So let's say Beverly is planning to make a sales pitch of the subscription and recurring billing management. I had already mentioned, this is my personal favorite. So sales pitch of subscription and recurring billing management. Let's say the call is being made to one of the customer, and just using this information temporarily, and I'm just trying to enter some number. I'm ensuring that the direction is in the outgoing one, and let me just try to hit on save and close. So as we can see right now, this is the sales pitch for the subscription recurring billing management. Now the user has done his activity. He has just created a phone call entity record. Let me go back and let's give the solution a couple of moments. And what I'm expecting is, once I hit on refresh, I'm expecting the 700 to be changed to 800, because since the condition was satisfied, 100 points should be awarded to Beverly. Here it is. So from 700, 100 points were added to Beverly, and now Beverly has moved to 800. So let's move to the next one, which is the game badge and rewards. Now with game badge and rewards, now when you play a game, some rewards, some game badges are expected. So what we have done is we already have got badges right here. So as we can see, I'll just open the tab and say the badges. So we can see we have created multiple badges, and within this game I'm using this badges, and I'm saying that award the bronze badge if the player completes 500 points, award the silver badge if the player completes 750 points, and award the gold badge in case the user completes 1500 points. Now in few moments I'll be logging in as Beverly, and I'll try to show you how Beverly must have achieved now the bronze as well as the silver badges. Well, let me go to the next one, which is the earn points, my personal favorite tab. Now, we saw that many people have got the points, but what is the basis of that points is where we can also show the record URL. So here you may notice Beverly has got 100 points because she created this record URL. And finally, as you can see, the earned badges, we can notice that Beverly has earned bronze, Brian has earned bronze, and both of them has now also earned the silver badge. Now, to make it more interesting, let me go back to Beverly's login, and let me try to log into her Gamifix. A beautiful visualization, that's the first impact that I'm looking at. Now, let me just refresh this so that we can get more updated information. So here you may notice these are the activities or timelines, that's all the records or the points that I have earned for today. Now at the top I can see a beautiful avatar for which Beverly has selected. What are the total points that she has earned? How many games she is a part of, and how many badges she has earned? Well, she has earned 7 badges, and all her badges can be seen right here, whether it's bronze, platinum, silver for face off, and so on. So that's the bronze for the cold call warriors. And not just there, we also provide the motivation factor right here. So although she has earned certain badges, but she's yet to earn these many badges. Now that's act as a motivation for the user to have all these badges right under her kitty. Let me just go to the games that she is part of. So, a beautiful visualization of all the 6 games that she is a part of. Well, Cold Call Warriors, that was something of interest because I just created a couple of records for that. And now, if I just scroll down, here you may observe, here you may observe that here's where Beverly is standing right at 800 points. So I'm currently standing as a Beverly, I'm standing at number 2, and I'm just 2 phone calls away from beating Brian, unless Brian is doing the calling at the same time as well. So that's a kind of motivation that happens when you are implementing Gamifics365. Not just that, we also understand that many a times it won't be possible for the users to come back to this web interface to just check where the user is standing. So can we have a quick access? For that, we also have a mobile application. Let me just, in the real time, let me just show you how the application actually looks like. So what I'm trying to do right here is I'm trying to mirror my mobile screen. Just give me 1 second. So here's my Power Apps, and here is the interface that is looking out for Gamifics365. The information pretty much remains the same. At the top, I can have my avatar. I can get some information, the games that I have played, the points that I have earned, the 7 badges that I have earned, and so on. I can also look at the total points that I have earned for today. Let me just refresh this. So as we can see, the data is getting updated. 300 points that I have scored for today. The games of which I'm the part of. So if I open a pool called Warriors by just tapping its name, here I can see the leaderboard. I can see the game rules. Well, just in case if I'm part of multiple games and I tend to forget it, I can easily look at the game rules and my motivation factor. Earn the badges on what points? So I'm earning bronze on 500, silver on 750, gold on 1500, and so on. So the badges that I have earned for total and the leaderboard, the tab of leaderboard where I'm a part of multiple games. So cool call warriors, here it is, and I can get to know the rank exactly where I am and what needs to be done so that I'm moving away from number 2 to number 1. Now this leaderboard is especially interesting because the feedback that we have got from all our customers is that this motivates the users. The number one the player who is at number 1 wants to maintain his position, and number 2 and onwards they just want to beat that particular position. So that's where the gamification and its impact comes into the picture. Now I had also mentioned that by the end of the demonstration, I'll be also talking about one extra feature that we have very recently incorporated, that is the TV feature. Now, because of the infrastructure, definitely I am not able to demonstrate it, but just close your eyes, try to visualize you're on the sales floor or you're on the floor of your office. There's a big television set, and all this information is now available on a television, and it is in a form of arousal, and it just goes on. With every refresh, the new points are being updated to the users, the players to be more precise, and it just creates a beautiful impact in the entire office. So a TV feature is a must when it comes to gamification, and we are extremely excited to announce that we do support the television feature or any external display for that matter. With that being said, I'm pretty sure by now you must have got the gist about what exactly is this Gamifics365, and I'm pretty sure by now you must have already started within your imagination that hey, I can use this solution for maybe some activity in your organization, right? And with that in mind, I'm just launching a very quick poll, and I'm just curious to know uh, in your organization, which activity do you think can be motivated with gamification using Gamifics 365? Whether it's motivating agents for more phone calls, whether it's motivating the reps for more lead qualification, the service rep for that matter, for more and more case closures, and whether it can be applied anywhere and everywhere. Oh, we have already started collecting responses. That's about, oh wow. So it's actually a tie, right? I've got 33% for lead qualification, 33% for case closure, and 33% for multiple possibilities. Well, I'm not allowed to vote, or else I would have definitely gone for multiple possibilities, and I would have made my personal favorite as the winner. But anyways, thank you for your insights. And with that being said, let me just switch back to my PowerPoint. Oops. Right. So let me just move on to the next one. So before I open the floor for the FAQs and the other information, let me just very quickly go through some of the commonly asked questions. it is, how will the Gamifics365 benefit the CRM users? Well, I just had almost half an hour for all the benefits provided by the gamification. Uh, is there any, is Gamifix 365 compatible across devices? Definitely yes, it's compatible across multiple devices. I actually demonstrated it on my mobile phone as well. Is there any limit to creating games with Gamifix 365? Absolutely no. There is no limit on creating any number of games. What Microsoft Dynamics product do you support? Let's hold on for this thought for a minute. Probably in the next slide, I'll be covering that as well. Can one create customized games with Gamifics 365? Definitely yes. And let's move to the next one, basically. So as I was mentioning, Gamifics 365 is supported for Microsoft Dynamics 365 version 9 and onwards, and of course in the Dataverse. And the deployment can be done on Dynamics 365 online. Well, with that, I'm opening the floor for any question and answers. If you have, please use the chat window for referring to any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Well, I've got one of the questions, which is, thank you for the demonstration. How can I get the trial? Oh, yes. That's how can you get started? That's one question that I'll be taking up in the next slide, where I can talk about how you can actually start the trial for 15 days and so on. Just hold on to that thought for one more minute. Okay, so let me just actually go ahead to the next one. Now, before you get started, we also wanted to talk about another application. So with Gamifics 365, let's say we have managed to motivate the user, they're putting up all the data within the CRM and so on. So we also have one more solution known as User Adoption Monitor. Now, once the motivated users are entering all the information, we can use this User Adoption Monitor just to check what all activities are being done by the users of the CRM. So the idea is to motivate, engage more and more users with Gamifics 365 and ensure with User Adoption Monitor what activities they are being done by the user within the CRM. And the best part is, with Gamifics 365, we are offering User Adoption Monitor at no additional cost. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely at no additional cost. You get Gamifics 365, you will automatically be provided with the User Adoption Monitor as well. Now, with that being said, let's see how we can get started. Well, we can just get started in less than probably 10 minutes. You can learn more about User Adoption Monitor. You can learn more about Gamifics 365 from our website, or you can also download the latest solutions from Microsoft AppSource. Do drop an email on crm@injecting.com once you download the trial, so that we can assist you in configuring these solutions as per your business use cases. Now, once you download the trial, a fully functional 15 days trial will be available for you, and we would be available for you just in case you face any issues during the configuration or during the